This is going to be an interesting one for me because I've not done this version of the Cassette 50 before. Now, I did do a playthrough of all 50 games on the BBC Micro Cassette 50, claiming that they were the Acorn Electron ones, because they basically are. This is the C64 version. Now, some of the games may be similar, but some will be different. I was prompted to do this because somebody left a comment on my YouTube video of the last stream talking about this version, and I thought, let's look at some different versions of this, because it came out on several different platforms. But again, I've not seen this one before, so I don't know what these games are going to be like. They may be better than the BBC one. I kind of hope that they are going to be better because they couldn't be much worse. Also, before we get started, just going to say, From the Sky Down is now out. That was my album that I've been working on at the beginning part of this year. It is now out on Spotify. It'll be on other stores soon. So please give that a listen if you can. Be much appreciated. But let's get straight on with Cassette 50. Now, we are going to do this game by game because I've got, basically, I found a very handy archive which has got all of the 50 games separated out. So we're going to start with this one, Maz. I don't know if these are going to have sound, or what the quality will be like. These are tape, so they'll be... Yeah, they take a moment to load. Maze Eater. Right, well, it's presumably going to be Pac-Man of some sort. Okay, colourful. I don't know what the F1 gives us. F1 to change level. I pressed... I hope that's not as loud for you as it is for me. Now, is this just the game starting? Or is this just because I haven't done anything yet? Enter level? Oh dear. What? Is this... You have to go through this for the whole game? For every time you want to start the game? Guide Pac-Man. So they've decided to call it Pac... The 3 types of mazes while eating... Okay, enter... I'm going to hazard a guess that this is not meant to look quite like this. Why is it so big? Could it just be an emulation problem? Also, it seems a bit iffy about whether it wants to move. Oh, I suppose it's because I picked up a power pill. Strange maze designs as well. You know, I'm not sure if it was meant to look like this, but then at the same time, I'm not absolutely sure it wasn't. And I can't move while I've got a power pill. Oh, did I die there? I thought I had a power pill. Is it? I suppose it is possible that this is just a horrendously badly emulated game. But I've used this emulator for you know, let's say good Commodore 64 games, and I've never had a problem with it. And this is obviously just this is so slow and laggy. It must be just written in BASIC. I have a feeling that this is probably it. One of the reason it feels so awkward is because you have to get it exactly on the axis. If you accidentally give it a diagonal, it doesn't respond because it was never programmed to recognise diagonals. This is, for all of this, it's not the worst Pac-Man I've ever played. There you go. This is probably painful to watch, but at the same time, well, I hope it's not too painful to watch. But at the same time, this. I've kind of got this feeling that I want to really try and get this maze completed, if I can. You know, I find myself wondering if they ported just the maze part of this from another platform and then added the sprites in, but realised that Commodore 64 sprites are huge. So what was the size? It was 24 by 21. It was an unusual height. But then again, I think they've used the sort of magnify mode horizontally. So maybe they built this. Maybe they made this on a broken Commodore 64. I should have got those pellets to the left just now. Come on. Also, of course, they never bothered to make the ghost actually follow the maze. It just the ghost goes everywhere, and there's only one ghost. I sailed a bit close to the window there, but I thought that ghost is so slow. I reckoned I could get past it without it catching me, and I was absolutely right. I'm just going to wait for a second while it gets a bit too low. If I do that, then there's no way it'll be able to catch up to me as I head back up to the top section or the centre. Oh, I was saying it won't catch me as I head to the central section, but of course I was reckoning without the terrible controls. Well, that's map 2, and I've got to say it. Just on the quick glance, it looks an awful lot like the layout of map 1, just with the walls are now black. Did we manage to eat the ghost before? I think I ended up getting eaten by the ghost when I tried to do it. So we'll just wait for him to come down a little bit closer, and then we'll see if I can actually eat him. I just want to see what happens. Does it do the proper eyes? No, it just teleports back to the top. I can spawn camp the ghost. This is ridiculous. How many points am I getting for this? Oh, only 10 at a time. Well, I'll tell you something. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to deliberately lose lives, because this isn't the most entertaining game in the world, but we've seen most of what it can offer, I think. I'm in the top 5. Enter my name. Was that the original set of high scores? Rich Dick Guy? Really? So what is it, F1 to change level? I can't do that while this animation is playing. I genuinely think this is actually you have to sit through this every time. They were trying to go for a sort of a Ms. Pac-Man style interlude, weren't they? Oh yeah. And it says there's 5 levels. Alright. Level 5 just has a faster ghost. Okay, we've covered this game now. So we are moving on to game number 2, which is Gal. I'm going to update this just so we know what we've got. Oh, come on. You're not just going to sit there, are you? Is it loading from tape or what? So it's a warp. Well, this looks a little bit more professional, and I mean that in a very, very, very relative way. We've got some music, even if it is a bit farty. Galactic Attack. some flickery background animation, but you know they've tried. And it's F1 to start, it says. So let's try F1 to start. Can I actually use joysticks? Apparently not. What if we try switching to joystick in port 2? Where is swap joysticks? Oh, I can. Okay. So they couldn't even be consistent enough to keep the number of joy... Maybe not. Oh, I see what I'm doing now. I see what I'm doing. They couldn't even be consistent enough, though, to keep the joystick the same in each port. And that's... In each port, what am I saying? The same in each game. Now, I know what I'm doing wrong here because I keep launching it and then forgetting to do anything. So let's... Right, so we've got our... Oh! I've got the idea of this now. I've made a bit of a mess of... That's not too bad. Oh, it let me type in 6 letters, but I'm only allowed 5. All right. Let's give this another go. Now, like, I think I know what I'm doing. Bear in mind, there is there's the combination of the fact these aren't the greatest games, but also I am terrible at this. Oh. I was way off to the side. So far, I haven't actually rescued a single alien. Because if you look, I mean, it's not like Defender where you're rescuing humans. You are apparently rescuing little alien creatures from... Oh, now come on. I was still going left there. I think that should have let me past. Why do the asteroids turn into little aliens? Unless they're space eggs. You've got to fight against the space eggs. Come on. I'm sure that this isn't as hard as I'm making it look. Let's add in... Is it just me? Put lots of extra R's on the end. No, it does just chop the name off. Try this again. Although this is hard, it's actually not bad at all. I've definitely seen worse games. Come on. Hey, we got one. At this rate, I will be allowed to pilot a ship again without being arrested. Oh, no. This is... it's just a little design point. I love the idea that, as you use each launch platform, each landing site, you just drop down a level, it makes it harder. It's the getting up again, that's the problem. Also, the point that I want to keep holding down on the joystick to move sideways, but you've got to keep individually pressing to move sideways. At least that's what it seems to me to be. That wasn't the smartest. That wasn't the smartest. Come on. Yeah, it's so much harder to move sideways. I'm wondering now. It doesn't say anything else about controls. Can I use cursor keys for this? What would that be? Okay, I'll see. All right, maybe it is joystick every time. So I was thinking it might be a bit easier. I have just thought of another thing that may be working against me here, is that I'm, of course, using an analog stick here for this. It might be easier if I use the D-pad.
So I'm just going to have a quick look at the joystick settings. Joystick import to... I don't know if... No, we won't mess around with that. I won't do that on the stream. It's not very responsive. It definitely feels much less responsive going up than down. I don't know why that is. Oh, where did that one come from? Where did that come from? I don't know where that came from. Absolutely mind-boggling. Well, I've nearly filled up the high school table. I mean, I don't know what happens if you get all of the aliens in, because I'm hopeless at this. Let's move on to the next game. The next one is going to be... This isn't in any way automatic. I just have to keep remembering to type it in. Space Mission. Oh, this looks more like the BBC Micro ones. Space Mission, a mini adventure. You've crashed on the planet Mars. You have 24 hours of oxygen left. The only other oxygen, is 200 miles away in a supply base. You have one ray gun with 4 ammunition clips and field glasses. You also have a pint of water with 4 hand grenades. That makes it sound like the pint of water came with 4 hand grenades. Maybe that they don't use ice. They use hand grenades. I don't know. Can you survive? I think the answer is probably no. You get out of your crashed ship and look around. To your west, there is nothing but sand. To your east, there are hills. To the south, there is just sand. To your north, there are mountains. Do you want to go north, south, east, or west? Well, let's look at the hills first. Is this a text adventure? You see 2 caves. Do you want to go and see them? My instinct is no, because they'll probably be a maze, but the cave is small, but at the far end there's a small light. What do you want to do? Carry on or go in? Yes, let's go in. As you go in, the light gets bigger until you reach the light. You find that there is oxygen down there. If the light comes from a hole in the roof of the cave... My reading today is dreadful. I apologise. The light comes from a hole in the roof of the cave. You see a box in the middle of the cave. Do you want to go and see it? In the box there is a map. I half expect you to say, do you want to go and see it? Yeah, of course I want to open the map. Game opening. Do you want to carry on? Yeah. I suppose I should note this, but you follow the map to a fresh water spring and take a drink. As you do so, a large water monster jumps at you, but you get out of the way in time. Do you want to shoot it or throw a grenade at it? Ooh. Shoot it. A large water monster. Let's go for grenade. You throw a grenade and blow it to bits. You have 3 grenades left. You keep walking until you come to a cave with 5 different tunnels. Which tunnel do you want to go down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The map, I think, did actually show, didn't it? Which ones were dangerous? Let's just go for... Well, I like the number 4. Let's go for 4. You walk up to tunnel number 4, and in the distance you see a small light. As you get nearer, you find the air gets thinner and thinner. Do you want to put your oxygen tank on, yes or no? Yes, I do. You switch your air on and walk to the surface of the planet. Look around with your field glasses, and to the north you see your supply base about a mile away. You have just enough oxygen to get there. As you walk for about half a mile... Sorry, was I wearing oxygen all the time? You switch your air on. Switch misspelled. And walk to the surface of the planet. So if I'm now on the surface... I was on the surface before, wasn't I? It wasn't saying that I was out of oxygen. Why did I need to put on the oxygen? I don't know. You walk for about half a mile and soon you come to a large hole. It's about 100 feet across and about 200 feet in wide. You have not got enough oxygen to go around, but you can take a risk and try and cross the old bridge or go down the hole and up the other side, but that will risk your not reaching the base in time. Do you want to go over the bridge or down the hole? Let's take a chance and go over the bridge. You cross the bridge, it gives way, and you fall 100 feet and break your neck. End! Do you want another go? Type in yes to start, but we'll try, see what else this game has got. We went to the hills first. Let's this time go to the mountains. You are soon climbing up a high mountain. You suddenly slip and fall 100 feet and break your neck. End. Oh, it's one of those games, is it? I see. So, if there's only just one... So, yeah, we do. Let's just see if we can speedrun this. Do you want to carry on? Yes, we want to carry on. See a box. Yes, go see the box. Open the map. Yeah, I'm assuming that if we look at those 5 tunnels on the left-hand side clockwise, yeah, the one with the question mark is actually the number 4. So I was my lucky number 4 worked there. So we use the grenade on the water monster again, assuming that's correct. Yes, we put our oxygen tank on. Now we go down the hole. That's it. You walk down the hole and up the other side and see your base about 200 metres away. You start to walk faster and faster until you just make it with about 1 minute of oxygen left. The big doors open and you walk in. Congratulations, you made it. Well, congratulations, everybody. We've completed this mammoth game, which was, of course, written in BASIC. Well, a little adventure game there. Text adventure, not really any puzzles. Why did it matter how many grenades I had? By the way, it's made this big deal about, oh, you've got 4 grenades and that sea monster, you've used one of them, you've got 3 left now. What did that matter? Never mind. Never mind. Let's move on to the next game, which I've got to update. It's Lunar Lander, which is... They seem to be a lot of space games so far, don't they? Lunar Lander. This is use keys. I can't use the joystick on this one. All right. ZX, F1 and F7. Well, there's a logical set of keys. Well, I know, yeah, Commodore 64 had the function keys down the side. I know. But, right. You took a little bit of time to get started there. What are we going to do here? Well, F7. Oh, no, I didn't have a chance. The sprite stays on the screen when you actually, if you fail, just to rub it in. Is F7 up? Or was it F1 was up and F7 is down? That would explain why I'm just plummeting into the moon's surface. I suppose in the real moon landing, it doesn't matter if you confuse up and down, because at the end of the day, no one's ever going to know, are they? No! I'll give it one more go. This is not responding well. I don't know what the thrust is on this. I mean, it says up and down, but... Oh, you have to keep pressing. Oh, man. Let's see if I can actually just get it to land at least once. Although I'm not that bothered. To be honest, I've played many Lunar Lander games in my time. This ain't one of the best. No, let's just move straight on. Next one is... Pla. 550... The game's giving me a little bit of time there. Loading graphics, please wait. This had better be good. Tell you what, we'll switch to warp mode again, just to get it a little bit faster. Plasma bolt. Do not shoot the mice. There's another text one by the looks of things. Well, text mode. BNM to fire. I dare say it will become not very clear. That one to start. Oh, I see. Again, it's not very responsive. You've really got to hold down the key for it to work. It's so sluggish that if you miss, you've got no hope of recovering. I'm hoping it's just hit it every line, and then eventually I'll get the generator. Yes. So I can progress a little further. Is it keeping track of the score? It's right now it doesn't seem to be. Missed it. Oh, 210. I'm going straight back in. Oh no. In a way, there's the germ of an interesting idea for a game here. In a way, in a slight way. And it's nice that they've taken the old classic, just scrolling race game and made it a little bit more interesting. But only a little bit. And it's really punishing. I don't know if there is actually some sort of trick. My instinct is there probably isn't a trick to doing it. Well, actually, given that you can just shoot ahead, 200. I'm going to try this again, because since you can just shoot ahead with the N key, why don't I just go to the side and just keep shooting them with the N key? Or will the walls eventually get in the way? This is not the most interesting of games to watch, I suppose. Come on. Shoot. Yet again, though, it's a game where you find yourself battling the controls more than the game itself. So I don't know if this technique actually just completely breaks the game. And it makes me wonder why they even bothered. If this really does break the whole concept of the game, they shouldn't have let you have the ability to fire directly forwards. They should have made it so you can only fire diagonally. Because the element of skill comes in that judgment, but as it is, I can just keep going forward, and every time one of those appears, I can just shoot it. And I don't know if there's going to be some change in game mechanics, but oh, hello, mission 1 over. So maybe it gets more difficult. Maybe they expected you to do that. So mission 2. The same thing. Now maybe this time, maybe the things are in different positions. The plasma bolts are in different. Actually, what is the plasma bolt? Is that the thing that's going across the screen, or is that the thing I'm shooting? Does this same technique always work? Are there slightly more obstacles now? Again, almost certainly just a plain basic game. The exact sort that you would find as a type in a magazine. Even then, I would have expected this more to be at like the back of the magazine where they just put, you know, the short games that were a little bit of junk. You know. I suspect that that's it for this game. So let's. Yeah, that game I think is just easily beat. Next one is STA. So let's again update my notes. It's a Star Trek clone. This one looks like it's the same one that we saw on the BBC version. Press space. Yes, it's the same one. So we can do a long range scan. We have to sit through all of the instructions. And then what? Command Captain. 1. Do short scan. This is painfully slow. But since we've seen a Star Trek game of this kind before, and for this kind of game, you really do need to kind of be making notes. I'm going to move on. Unusual that they. Well, I say it's unusual they include it. They seem to be, these games seem to be everywhere at that kind of time, but it's certainly not the kind of quick and easy arcade games that they were throwing out for the rest of the thing. So next game is Rad. Radar landing instructions. The nose of the jet must touch down on the end of the runway. Stall at speeds less than 100. Landing speed less than 300. U, Z, I, and M. Awkward. Right. This, again, it's not the fastest game in the world, and it's very, very simplistic graphics. Let's just stall it. Oh no, it's no. Oh no, you've got that horrible keyboard lag. Where if you hold down the keys, the auto repeat, it just shoves keys into the buffer, and then you've got to wait for the game to catch up. That's terrible. It's because they've written it in BASIC and they haven't cleared the keyboard buffer. That was kind of one of these gotchas where if you're writing a game in BASIC back in the old days, it was like BASIC would make things easy until it didn't. And there were little gotchas where you needed a bit of experience to know what to do. Now, as it is, I'm going to miss the runway. Crash. No sound for this, by the way. That's just. It makes it, just the fact they've repeated it makes it almost sound cute. Crash. Now, if that game actually felt less like pulling teeth, I would maybe give it a go and see if I could actually land, but I don't think we'll bother. Let's move on to the next game. This is at number 8. Attacker. We have a sort of graphic effect. God, that's confusing.
Your mission: destroy Gestapo headquarters.
So presumably a World War II setting. Either that or things are very strange. Suggested method: blow dam and flood building. Your armory: unlimited supply of 500-kilogram bombs. Intelligence report: dam guarded by a bunker containing a machine gun. Also a tank patrols gorge at bottom of dam.
Good luck. You will need it.
Controls: increase altitude with W. Decrease altitude with X. Increase velocity with A. Decrease velocity with D. Drop a bomb with space. Press a key to start mission. Oh, I see. With you, right. So we've got to blow the dam, yeah. I kind of like the graphics on this one. It's very simplistic. It's basically text mode, but they've done a little more than the bare minimum in this case. And yeah, I ended up getting blown up. You've crashed, Wally, but you survive. Oh, maybe the pilot was called Wally. You've crashed, Wally, but you survive. Or maybe the plane was called Wally. Maybe it was Wally the Wellington Bomber. Oh, no, no, no. Oh. I pressed Y by mistake and now I can't skip these instructions. Thankfully, it is basic. Suggested method: blow. Yeah. Tell you what, we'll reload the game because I think that would be quicker than doing anything else. There was this kind of thing that, you had to have the instructions appear like a typewriter, one character at a time. And, you have games that still do it, but this idea that you can't skip it is ludicrous. But that was so slow. So no instructions, go away. I wonder if I can take out the tank or the... Oh, I can slow down a little bit. But I still get shot. The plane explodes into pieces of everything else in the world. Yes, another flight. No. This is the sort of thing where if, I'd been inclined to actually modify the game so that it didn't actually ever even ask you about the instructions, because it adds a bit of flavour. Do you know what? I think if you had that bomber with the unlimited supply of bombs, you'd actually probably do more damage to the place just by bombing it directly than trying this, attempts at the dam. And even then, they're not kind of going for the dam busters bouncing bomb approach, are they? They're just going for just shoot the dam. Shoot the dam. See if I can get this timing right. It feels very responsive. So far, this is one of the better games on this particular tape. This one is not that bad. Again, it's like a magazine listing, but a reasonable one. Not spectacular, but it's one of the ones you come back to. Another flight? Yeah, we'll give it another flight. The main thing is just the awkwardness of the instruction screen, but other than that. Other than that, this is not bad. He says, getting blown up again. Do you know, it looked rather like the destruction of the plane actually blew the dam anyway. So, you know, if I crashed the plane and I survived and the dam blew, surely that would be a successful mission. I mean, expensive, but it wouldn't be a failure. The objective, after all, was to destroy the Gestapo base. But game logic, who knows? No, not this time. Let's move on. Another one called Gal. So they couldn't even keep the games consistent. Galactic Dogfight. Right, so this is 2 joysticks, 2 players. There is only one me. But we can at least see what it's like. Now, I have a feeling this is another one that was available in the BBC version. If using the joystick, please wait, Galactic Dogfight joystick required. Am I going to have to enter on both joysticks? Spot joystick. Good soundtrack. Experimental noise music. I was quite impressed, actually. I managed to hit the enemy there. Not that I have to worry, because the enemy just flies straight into the sky. Into the fixed dome of stars at the very top of the screen. I win. It would have been embarrassing if it had been anything other than 5-0, wouldn't it? Because that would mean that, you know, basically completely dumb computer opponent had beaten me. You know, I would have been better off just leaving the joystick alone. But oh, sorry about that. Let's move on. Next game is called PSI. And that brings us to game number 10. Loading graphics, please wait. So it's another one by that same coder that did the other one. Should we switch to warp? Let's switch to warp. Scion Attack. With a P. A silent P. So A up, Z down, space, fire, M is hyperspace. Destroy the Scion attack waves as they advance towards you with your cannon, hitting a space mine. As they advance towards you with your cannon, hitting a space mine is fatal. Your ship, fuel power 100 points, press F1 to start. Pardon me. So it's kind of like a very low rent defender. They've tried to keep a certain amount going on screen, haven't they? And, it's not very responsive. But we're trying. And, but, you know, if you're this running in text mode and it's scrolling horizontally, that's actually surprisingly not bad. Certainly seen worse. But it lacks all of the smoothness and speed of classic Defender. It's interesting, though. Eventually, I managed to persuade my ship to actually shoot one of the enemies. There we go. It's a bit samey though, isn't it? And the entire universe stops while you fire a weapon. And what did I hit there? Did I hit something? Or did it just explode for no reason? Let's move on. Next game is IVA. Iva. And it didn't even give me a chance. Evasive action. It's neither invasive nor evasive. It is evasive action. Guide your bug up the screen, avoiding the fast-growing mushrooms. The mushrooms spread down the screen as the pollen germinate. Pollen doesn't germinate. Never mind. Good luck. Don't play this game if you get hay fever. Use joystick number 1. I think I need to switch ports again. Again, why not just make a decision of which port you're going to use? I mean, I can understand it if it's like a different company, but come on, press fire to start. Did I do it twice by mistake? Swap joysticks. So I've literally just got to avoid these mushrooms. Ow! Oh, I can zoom upwards. Initially, I thought you had to drift upwards at the speed that it gave it to you. All right, let's see what we can do. Another piece of experimental noise art music. Ow! This is the dangerous bit. You don't want to be going up the screen past where it's generating new mushrooms, because you've got absolutely no warning. That they'll get, if it will happily spawn a new mushroom on top of you without any warning. If you were making this game now, I think that would be something that you would deliberately program it to avoid. Oh no! Now look, it had already moved me to the bottom of the screen now. How could I possibly have hit it? It's like half the game decided I'd completed the level and half decided I hadn't. Meantime, does it even give you a score? Oh, high score 40. It's weird that it doesn't show you the high score actually on the splash screen, on the title page. But you can't know everything. Obviously, it would cost them more money to put the high score on another mushroom I couldn't avoid. Do you know, I initially thought evasive was a spelling mistake. But if you think about it, the mushrooms are invasive and you are being evasive. So maybe evasive is a very clever piece of wordplay. I think we should consider that. Right, next game is NOU. Noughts and Crosses. Good old classic game. Do I want to play against me or another player? 2. Skill level of computer. Do you need a skill level for Noughts and Crosses? Let's set it to hard. First to go. Yes, I will be first to go. This is Y or N. First go. Am I allowed to? Oh, you have to enter. You have to do it and then press enter, but it doesn't actually show you doing it. That's terrible. Enter row column. 2, 2. 2, 1. Come on, computer, don't be stupid. I half expected it, even on hard mode, to put it somewhere ludicrous. I thought, surely. So, row 1, 1, 2. Three. Three, 1. Yeah, this time I think we'll let the computer go first. Just to see how it does. I mean, if it puts... That is so ridiculous that you have to remember to press enter. Why did it put it there? Why did it put it there? Who, when given the chance to start in automotives, who starts in a corner? Anyway, we should be heading for another comfortable stalemate. 2, 1. And 2, 3. A nice symmetrical game there. Yeah. Next game is called Bog. Number 13. It would be. Boggles, the Mind Boggler. Ah, so is it Master Logic? Okay, this is going to be a Mastermind clone. I didn't think it would be Boggle because it would need to have a dictionary built in. And do you reckon they put that amount of effort in? I doubt it. But let's go look at Letter Jumble to start with. 1 or 2 players. Press level. This time I'll be dumb and start. Presumably it's dice, or it could be iced. Do you want another game? Yes. This time it's ice. Idea. I think we've got the idea with that game now. Pun not intended. Master Logic. So, least opposable turns. With clues given on the right, blue is the correct numbers. Red is... Okay, yeah, we know this kind of thing. So, let's see what a mess I can make of this. Select level 1 to 9. Oh, it's just the number of numbers. Let's go for it. I like the farty noise it was making there. What I can do really is just keep guessing number at random. So, I suppose, yeah, it makes more sense if you've got more. Actually, if it's one number, it's entirely random. So let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 in the correct place and 2 are correct. Let's go for 1 is correct and none are in the right place. So let's try. Okay, so let's now go back to the 1. Well, we know the 1 isn't in the right place. If it even is, 1 is in the correct. No, 1 is right place. And it can't be 2, so let's try the 3. Like that. 1 is correct and 1 is in the correct place. So is it 1 at the end? Yeah, so it's a 4 and a... Yeah, that was a bit of a silly move, but I do think we've got a... So that's not right. So if we got 2... Is it 2 4s at the start? Oh, 4 4... 4 3... 3 6. There we go. Did it. Maybe not the fastest that it could be done, but yeah, did it. No more games of bogglers. Yeah. Next one is Pon, which I suspect is going to be Pontoon. Another one which we also find on the BBC version. Would we like instructions? Why not? It's going to be 20 minutes. Oh, enter yes or no. Oh, right, you're one of those games. Ace and Royal or Ace and 10 beats everything else. Only Pontoon beats a 5-card trick. The meter only plays high scores. Hand over 21 goes for yes. Ace is counted 1 or 11. You'll have to work hard to beat the computer. Shuffling. Which takes a remarkably long period of time. 2 of hearts and a queen of diamonds. Would I like another card? Yes. Oh, piss off. Could you imagine actually playing this at a casino or something and just, the dealer just going, yeah, you need to say yes or no. I'm not going to respond to yeah or Yeah, it's got to be yes or no. I don't care how much money you'll bring in. No, I think that's pushing low. Given that it's a bit slow, it certainly makes it a bit more... a bit more tense. Yeah. I think we'll... Actually, no, I don't have another card with those 2. No. Not on 20, I'm not. Yeah, I think we've got the size of this particular game. Right, next one is Ski. Is this going to be the old ski jump game? I have this horrible feeling, that we'll end up getting to the end of the list of games and the number won't match up. All I can say is I know I've got 50 games here. Downhill ski jump. With a nice little animation. Fire to jump. Fire to start. Really? It's not responding to joystick import 1. Really? It's joystick import 2, of course it is. Oh, it's another one of these. So it's a ski slalom game, very similar to a couple that we've already seen. But I've got to say, the graphics for this kind of game, not bad. And in fact, it compares favourably, I think, to the Horace Goes Skiing game that was out, certainly for the Spectrum version. which was basically the same. Well, actually, no, I tell a lie. That had Sloan flags. But, it's nice. They've got the trees and the little houses. Skier has no arms. It's downhill skiing. I wouldn't say it's a ski jump, though. Well, that's really not that bad. I mean, it's hardly up the level of the top Commodore 64 games, but compared to the standard we've seen so far, that's not badly put together. You can't press fire while it's playing that little tune, by the way. You have to wait for it to finish doing that. And although, again, it's clearly written in BASIC, it's not quite as unresponsive as the other games. Ah! It even has different sections. Or do we continue from the section we're on? I could moan about that being a bit oversensitive, but in all honesty, okay. Yeah, that was. Guess what? That was my fault. Splattered by the mountain pass. I wonder if I can get any further. That is not bad, though. Keep going. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, it's starting me at the mountain pass. Now we know that's what it is. I would have thought it looks more like a river, but well. Ah. Doo, 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 doo. I've got that in my mind now. That's a catchy tune. Probably make a good little ringtone. Or a text to that. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, another new section. It looks like the trees again, I have to say. The forest. Okay. I don't know if that progresses any further, but not bad. A little game for what it was. Better than I anticipated. So let's move on to the next game, because we've actually been going for an hour now. And this one is Hound. 16. Hangman. 1984 in coloured letters. Do we need instructions? Why not? Always reply Y for yes or N for no. You didn't tell that dealer about that, though, did you, in the other game? I will print unknown word. Each dash stands for a missing letter. When I print, press any letter. Follow the instruction. If a letter is in... This is like joining the army, isn't it? If the letter is in the unknown word more than once, you will need to press the letter more than once. E.g., Apple has 2 P's. Press P once, and I reply, unknown word, P. Press P a second time, and I reply, unknown word. You have to complete the word before I hang the man. I'm just going for the usual strategy of going for the most common ones. So, ETA. ETA. It can't be another, and it can't be brothel. So I do think it might be that. Let's be honest. That's exactly the kind of word you expect to find in this. What's that last letter V? Is it going to be... Oh, it could be clothes. Let's try to see. Yeah, it's clothes. Was it me, or was it, generally speaking, if you were playing Hangman as a kid, it was, you weren't allowed plurals. Although I suppose you could say that's a verb in present tense. Let's give it another go. E. T. A. Interesting. O. Actually, we should try A again, because it said if you appears more than once. Oh, could it be aggravate? So it's 3 A's. I think it is. G. G. And again, this idea of you have to give the letter more than once if it's more than once in a word. Not a bad variant, actually. Now, shall we see what the hangman actually looks like? Let's just see what happens if we deliberately go for bad letters all the way through. Not in word. I'm just hitting Z every time. So what? If you're playing along at home, you might like to guess it's not got any Z's in it. Well, he's got arrows on his, and he's got hash-shaped hands. Something terrible's happened to his hands. It's interesting, because it does bring back the historical period of when people were indeed hanged for their crimes, and people were actually assembled head first from their individual body parts on the gallows in order to be executed. People forget that. Right, next one is called Old, O-L-D. 70. Old Bones. This is a board game like checkers or drafts, except you capture by taking a piece rather than by jumping over it. You capture by actually moving on to the piece rather than jumping over it. But taking a piece is the same as capturing it, surely. The computer always has the first move. You move responding to the from prompt with the number across the bottom of the square you wish to move from, then a comma, then the number across the side. You do the same for the to prompt. The winner is the first player to capture 6 of the opponent's pieces. From 8-6 to, I don't know, 5, 9. Six. Oh, what am I doing? Let's go. Is it 8, 5 then? To. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. 8, 6 to. No, what? 6, 8, 5, 9. It's made no attempt to cater for the scrolling. It's just happened, has it? Look at the mess that's made. I for one, I'm not going to persevere with this particular game because it's so slow, and I've already made a complete mess of even trying to follow the instructions. So let's go on to the next one, THI, which is probably thick, which is probably a description of me. THI, thin ice. Oh, this is another one that was we've seen before. You must avoid falling through the gaps in the bridges by fobbing an ice bridge across the gaps. There are 9 places to prevent yourself from falling into the river. You can fall between levels of bridge positions, but you forfeit points. Points are gained according to the distance travelled. To form the ice bridge, use the joystick in port 1 or the keyboard. Now, yeah, guess what? We were in port 2. So, right, let's form the ice bridge. And we'll go for middle difficulty. Enter 2 initials. DD. Okay. So it was another one. I don't think it showed me the initial as I was entering it, so I just typed D twice. Let's give it another go. I see. Yeah, you've got to hold it in position. Simple idea. Not very engaging. Possibly, I could see that being developed more if you had. It was maybe a bit more like Tapper and you had more than one person trying to cross at once. But given you've only got the one joystick, I suppose with a modern joypad, you could actually have 2 movable platforms which you're controlling with both sticks. You could even make it like multiplayer where each person is contributing. That I think would be quite a good game. Well, a good party game. But we'll move on. So that was Thin Ice. The next one is called Orb. Orbiter. Instructions. You are the pilot of a spacecraft in fast decaying orbit above a giant planet covered in crevasses and deep fissures. You must pick a landing spot and have a go before your fuel. So it's another lunar lander. Unfortunately for you, the planet has a very strong gravity, making landings at a safe speed extremely difficult. Press key to descend from all. Is that a spaceship or a? It's like the lunar lander, isn't it? It's just it appears to have a face. Press F1 for main engines. Press 3 for low power retros. Z and X. Avoid the. Is it always the same map? Just It crashed. How slow am I supposed to land? Hey Ditz, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me on this retro session. It is, so far I'm on game 19 of 50, Orbiter. They have, as expected, been extremely variable. I'm doing alright, thanks. I was originally going to start the new album today, but it was a bit of a late start, and I was thinking about this Commodore 64 thing since somebody left some comments on the BBC Micro Cassette 50 I did, and I thought, and they were talking about the C64 one, and I thought, well, I never looked at any of the others, so let's have a look at some of the others. That's what I'm doing here, and we're going to gradually plod through all of the games. It's taken me 1 hour 20 minutes so far to get to number 19. My favourite so far is going to be either the ski jump one, which was about 5 games ago, or there was quite a good one. The trouble is they all of them have like 3-letter names, so it's really hard for me to remember which one is which. But once in a blue moon, they come up with. Oh, there was the one where it was the bombing raid, wasn't it? I think it was at. Let me just load that one up again quickly. Attacker. There was the planet landing one as well, which was like a text adventure. I completed that one. This was quite good. This was Attacker, but it's really just a clone of the old city bomber, but you've got to try and blow a hole in the dam. It's above average for the games on this tape. Well below average for Commodore 64 games, but above average for games on this tape. But anyway, so that was not Orb. But we'll move on to the next game. This one is called Mott, which is going to be game number 20. Motorway, and that's probably going to be more or less unreadable because of the weird colours they've used. This was a thing on the BBC as well. Why did they choose such weird colour schemes? Cross the road and rescue the girl. Move along from left to right, but look out for the cars. Use cursor keys for left and right. Space is jump. Probably they're Sinclair C5s. Oh, this is awful. Did I double jump there? And why do you move so much more slowly when you're jumping than at any other time? Am I going to die for hitting that C5 there? Yes. So, what? I'm jumping through the road and I'm able to hit cars that are going along the road above my head because I've passed through the road but not the car. Right, this one's terrible. Let's move on. The next one is called Force Field 21. Again, why they called them all 3-letter names, I don't know. But they did. Instructions. You're trapped in a force field with 10 spongs and 10 fast-moving gulpers. Gulpers can move, but spongs can't. Gulpers can eat you, but spongs can eat you and gulpers. Try and escape and destroy the gulpers. Hint, try hiding behind spongs. Yeah, Frogger would have been better for that, yeah. You are a splodge. Let's go for... Oh, this is all text. They haven't even bothered with graphics for this one. Right, where am I? I have no idea what just happened. Oh, God, it's the keyboard lag as well. A lot of these, I swear, they just ported these over from other platforms, and they've just done a really bad job of it. Get out of the way. I am pressing controls and it's not moving. It's partly that it moves each and every one of the other creatures very slowly. And I just walked straight into a gulper because I was desperately trying to make it move. So it'll go through all of them and it'll go, sorry, you lose. We may have hit the shit area of the thing. And the next one is Nim, which is probably just going to be Nim. 22. Instructions. There are 3 rows of balls. You may take any number of balls from any row. The player who takes the last ball or balls wins the game. Good old-fashioned classic game, this one. I'm going to make a mess of this because there's... Yeah, it is a retro classic, and generally speaking, you're not going to beat a computer on this. Unless they program it pretty badly. Come on. There was even that entirely mechanical Dr. Nim. I didn't enter row 3, I entered row 1. Row 1, how many? 3. I wonder why it was sitting there. But yeah, it was Dr. Nim, where it was entirely mechanical. It had levers that detected... Oh, no, it was called Dr. Nim, but it was not actually the Nim game, but it still was a logic game where it could beat you just by using levers. It was very clever. I think one of those... I think Matt Parker did a video on that. Yeah, I could have beaten it. No, I couldn't. No, it would have, yeah, because it would have just taken 2 from that. No. Anyway, classic Nim. Let's move on to Tun, T-U-N. That's the thing about Nim is, well, at least for me, it always makes me think that I could have won, but then a moment's thought is, no, I couldn't have done. Now it's loading. Switch to warp just to... We actually have graphics for this one. Escape or bust. Joystick in port 1. Ah, we are actually in port 1 for a change. I have a feeling that this is a clone of the old balloon game. It is. It's the old arcade game with the balloon. Great soundtrack. As I've been saying, you know, they've gone for the experimental noise music for most of these games. Oh. For the existing standard, that's pretty good, and they've clearly made a bit of effort with this. I would guess that this was a game that Cascade intended to put out, or maybe even did put out commercially. Now, when I got my Cassette 50 for the Electron, as I mentioned before, it came with a digital watch that had games in it as well, which for the 80s was pretty damn good. But you had to have tiny fingers to use it. And even as a kid, my fingers were a bit big. $50 fantastic, I mean, in the sense that it's fantastic that anyone would consider releasing them commercially. Or even showing them to anybody. or admitting that they produced them. Oh! Now, funny enough, this is the sort of game where I could continue doing this for some considerable time. But we're not even halfway. So let's note this one as an interesting game, ton. And we're actually, that was the end of side one, but it's not halfway through the list of games. Next one is Bar Humbug. SBAR. Barrel Jump. I have a feeling this is yet another one where it was the same as one that I had. So I think this just has the barrels going across the screen and you just got to time your jumping. Let's walk past this. Let's have the instructions. Your brewery bill. A delivery man for a brewery. First cross on the moving barrel to the other side, then climb up the ladder until you reach the level with the flashing barrel on. Pick up the barrel and take it back to the lorry for delivery. Ah, it's not what I thought. You have picked up a barrel when the beep stops and the barrel stops flashing. If you fall off the ladder or miss the barrel, or your tip runs out, then you are fired and instantly killed. Modern workplace. The tip is displayed at the top left and starts at 99 pence and decreases. It's 99 pence tip. And when death is what you get if you don't do your job properly. When the barrel reaches the cart, the tip left is added to your score. The score is displayed at the top middle. The highest score is displayed at the top right. Keys are A, W, D, X. Or use a joystick. Yes, let's use the joystick for one. What went wrong? I thought I just did exactly what I was supposed to do. What's the bird about? Oh, of course, it's the flying bird that carries your tombstone. I forgot about that. That's a tradition in the brewing industry. So as far as I'm aware, you just need to... So, I get on the barrel, and I'm supposed to go across. What mythology this is. Oh, arse. This is like that Waterworld game in The Simpsons where you make one step and it says game over. Do you know, I'd be tempted to give this extra points just for the sake that they've actually made the effort of doing some graphics for this. But it is basically unplayable. So let's move on. Yes, I do want instructions. I will update the thingy quickly just to say what game we're on. It's Can. Do I want instructions? Yes. This game is played like tennis. We have two gunners. Just like tennis, two gunners. The first gunner to score 15 wins. Gunner 1 left back. AZ up and down. Try to get the cannonball past your opponent. So this is basically Pong. A and Z. Gun size large or small. Left to start. You can at least try to back it. Where did they get the idea of making it cannonballs? Cold War Pong would be nuclear weapons. That would have been there would have been a satirical element to that. I could have thought that was quite funny. If they say there's ICBMs being launched back and forwards and you've just got to bat them back at the opponent. But no, these get the cannonballs, it said. It glitched out. What's going on there? What's happening? They couldn't even do... Even this game, where they haven't even bothered doing graphics for it. And yes, I know Pong, it looked more or less like this anyway, but... They couldn't even program it without glitching out. Right. Next one is OVE. It's 26. Overtake. Is this going to be the old Dodgems game? Sorry, Nightbot. Nightbot deleted that. But I appreciate the lol. Yeah, bugger off, Nightbot. Overtake. This is a game for 2 players, one using a joystick in port 1 and the other using the keyboard or the other joystick in port 2. You have to beat your opponent's 5 cars by racing around the track anti-clockwise as fast as you can. No cheating. What do I mean by no cheating? You can use the accelerator, which gives an extra burst of speed, but uses up fuel rapidly. If you run out of fuel, you can coast a lot. If you lose if you crash all 5 cars. Key or joystick port 2, play it on left, joystick port 1, hit space. Now, I am not 2 players, so we'll just see what actually happens with this. Given these games, I don't understand why they take so long to load. Warp mode. Of course, I didn't turn off warp mode fast enough. Okay. I'm doing a good... Actually, I quite like the way that it actually ends up blocking a previous crash will actually block the road. That's quite good. Other than that, it's yeah. Let's zoom past that one. The trouble is with 2-player games, there's only so much we can do because you know, it's hard enough to find 1 player that what the hell? I'm going to load this one again. Did it sitting target? Did it go straight to the game? It did. It's like is that in attract mode? You actually use controls, or is it joystick in the other port because they're still trying to? I'll reload it again. Come on. Up, down. UNHJ. What? Oh, and you can't move when the opposer... No, I'm at the bottom. The enemy is at the top. And I can only move when it's not firing. Plus, it has that key buffer delay as well. So if I'm hitting keys while it's shooting, or while I'm shooting, oh God, so near to actually shooting it. Come on, move up one. No, don't go down. This is even worse than if it was 2-player. Shoot him now. You're pointing in the right direction. No, he's gone. Now what's happened? Oh. Yeah, people pay money for these. I mean, it is the history, you know, this made history. It is the first, it's acknowledged as the first collection of shovelware that was produced. Let's move on. This is game 28, SMA. Smash the Windows. And that's another one that I remember from my tape. A version of the original computer game Breakout, which they couldn't obviously call it Breakout. It's very simple to play. You have 9 stones with which to break as many windows as possible. But you must be economical with the stones by bouncing them off your slide at the bottom of your slide. Use keys Z and M Continue or... Okay, well, it's classic breakout. Did you notice that we don't appear to be breaking many windows, even though the ball is going... Oh. No, it didn't look like this. I'm going to say no. We're going to have another game. What's even more galling is that in some of these cases, like the Pac-Man clone at the beginning and this, you know, I have written clones of these games myself, and the ones that I wrote were far better, even if I am saying that myself. But, I mean, I did one that was called Spin Out, which you could actually... The bat could actually go in curves, and you could twist it from side to side as well for more control. And the bricks could be any shape, so you could create pictures out of them. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Spaceship. This one's called. They've switched the computer into multicolour mode for no reason. Another great piece of music. Welcome to the planet of the droids. You must enter several rooms in the base in search of your spacecraft, which has been stolen by the robot inhabitants of this planet. Unfortunately, the robots will electrify you if they manage to capture you. The robots are planning to attack Earth, so you must escape to give a warning to Earth's defences. If you fail, then the Earth is doomed. Good luck. What controls? Did it say anything about controls? I don't know what I am. Where? Why the man? I am the man, and I am controlling him with the joystick. I think the objective is just to avoid the obstacles. Or not. Alright, let's see what happens. Is it going to let me have another go, or is it just going to sit there now? Out of the droids. The robots will electrify and manage to capture you. You must escape. Oh, I'm the little guy at the bottom. Why was I not even visible on the screen? I think it actually starts you off the screen, which is terrible. So you have no idea what you're doing. That makes sense why the exit is at the top, to be fair. Right, so let's go to the side. Hooray! So we now have the same thing, but with more obstacles. But I think, to some degree, doesn't that work in my favour? Because if the bad robot is trapped on an obstacle, he can't go past. They've used exactly the same sprite for both of the characters. I'm the little fella. Yeah. And I hit an obstacle there. Oh, that's weird. So hitting an obstacle actually removes everything. But I can still go slightly faster than the robot. You know what else is funny? It's weird how it puts the obstacles even over the score area where you can't go. In terms of playability, once you've got the past idea, you know, of who it is you're controlling and what it is you're actually doing, it is playable. This is one of those rare games where it is actually a game. And I think you could do better. This, I think, actually, with a little bit of work, you could turn this into a good little mobile game or a mini game. I don't know how many rooms there are. Of course, the robot's a lot faster now. In this particular case, in honour of it actually being something that passes as a game, I'm going to keep going until I run out of lives, because otherwise it's not giving it a chance. I'll tell you what though, that ski jump one was surprising, because that actually had multiple levels with different graphics in each one. So that really surprised me. They'd clearly put some effort into that one. Oh, I hit the thing again. Alright. So if you hit one of those, it says it electrifies you, but it kind of takes away all of your obstacles. Okay, game over. Right. That's not too bad, considering. So the next one is Jet, which I'm thinking might be Jet Bike from the original. From the one I remember. Game number 30. Do you want joystick? Yeah. I don't know what game this is. Plane speed, fast or slow? Oh, it's just a jet flight. It's not jet bike. Right. Did it say what joystick port it was? Swap joysticks. Is it going to wait for me to press space? Am I having to wait for it to load graphics? Yes. You are the pilot of a fighter plane. Fuel is running dangerously low, and in order to refuel your bomber, full stop, you must destroy the enemy city before landing. Use your bombs carefully, as there is only one available time. It's Bomber, again, classic game. Your skill level is increased after fire button, 5 consecutive landings. You may change your skill level up or down at the end of each game. Good luck. Use fire button, space bar to start. I bet it is in the other port. Swap joystick ports. Yeah, it was. Yeah, this game's existed in a million formats over the years. I like the fact it continues making more buildings than it can fit on the screen as well. Again, they've clearly just adapted it from another platform without really caring about. Although they have done graphics. Simple, but they have done graphics. And it doesn't knock out a whole block each time. That's not a complaint. That's actually quite creative. Although, where is the bomb going if it misses the building? Is it going into the ground? And of course, adhering to the rules of war that you can only launch one bomb at a time. While one bomb is falling, you have to just sit there twiddling your thumbs. It does knock a whole building at a time. So why did we have one where that cyan one in the middle, where it only knocked out a tiny bit of a block? We can get that one where it was the multiple buildings. I like with this one as well the fact that the plane does go from side to side, because so often it just goes from left to right, or right to left. We're going to have trouble on the next level, aren't we? Here it goes. And there's a separate little graphic for the crashed plane. Bad luck, try again, it flashes. Oh, I think it lets you put your name in. And a little bit of graphics for the high school team. You know, again, for a C64 game, in general, very simplistic. But for this tape, they've put a little bit of effort in. Fire button oddly placed in the middle of the
Well, it's the best one you've seen yet. As I said, some of the earlier ones were okay, but it's towards the top end of these games. The next one is PHA, which is number 31. I'm guessing it's phaser something. I'm actually going to load that one again because I didn't see what it said at the start. Phaser. Fire your phaser at the attacking waves. ZX and something. I didn't have enough time to read what the fire button was. Oh no. See how it's moving? Basically, whenever the phasers are being shot at me, because I'm the thing at the top, I can't move. But it stores all of my keyboard presses until I could next move. And so I move in a whole bunch of sort of juddery motions. And there's no real way I can respond. This is like the really crappy ones from the BBC version of the tape. And I'm therefore going to move on to Intruder, which I'll quickly change the name of the game to Int. You have trespassed in a forbidden garden and the weeds are trying to trap and engulf you. Try to avoid being trapped by the multicoloured man eating weeds. I presume it's man eating weeds, not the multicoloured man who is eating weeds. Keep going as long as you can. Once surrounded by weeds, you will not be able to move anymore. The skull relates... Skull? Where did that come from? The score relates to how long it takes to engulf you. Maybe that the skull is all that's left. The keys are A, Z, left and right. Oh, so the plants are the... Oh. I think I'm trapped. The weeds got me, but I somehow still scored 510 points. I've got to hold down the key to keep moving. Right. Did I escape? They seem to be off the... I'm going to hazard a guess that I broke the game. I just walked off the screen and it didn't stop me. Let's see if I can just run that again. If that's even going to work, I might need to... But I think it said you've got to escape, so I just held down the key. Let's try escaping in a different direction. Oh, there's a hole in the wall there. Right. Obviously, there was no protection against me. Oh, you bastard. You talk about it doing me dirty. It blocked me off, so I couldn't get out. But then another hole opened up inexplicably. Do you know what it's doing? It's not that that was a hole that I could escape through. It's generating some of the these man-eating plants are being generated in the colour black, so you can't see them. That's what's happening. But it's not like there's an escape route. Well, I walked off the top again. It really doesn't stop you walking off the top. I've completely managed to trash the memory now on this one. I don't think there is a way to win this game. I think, winning the game is you just crash the system to do it. Right, let's move on. Inferno. Up, down, H, J, N, I. I can't remember what the other keys were. I don't know. Did you ever play any of these bits?
I've got. I mean, it was 84, so I think I'm hesitant to guess it was before your time. Come on, little guy. And what a pleasure it was, especially if you'd used your pocket money on this. Imagine that. So this is just a very simple maze game, I think. Again, I'm going to walk off the top and see if that works. That's fine. But all it does is it shoves you into another fire. Yeah. Let's move on. That one is not a very impressive game. So this one is GHO, presumably for Ghost. Reading ready button. Walk mode. Ghost. Oh, it's another Pac-Man. Another Pac-Man clone. How many of these do you need? Mind you, I had a good few noodle ladders. And a couple of defenders. So, at least this time Pac-Man fits in the maze and isn't gigantic. There is still only one ghost, though. Weird sound effects. Somehow I died, not at all sure how. Unless they made a rule where you have to consume the power. If you consume the power pill, you have to consume the ghost. That would be an interesting twist. It did. It was a plural. You're right. Maybe we're all ghosts. Maybe the real ghosts were the friends we made along the way because we killed them all. Yeah, I reckon they've made it so that you have to actually eat the ghost. At least you're eating a power pill. But again, I did a version of Pac-Man called Walt Snapper on the Amiga, which was a lot more playable than this. Yeah, that's the sound it's doing, isn't it? Yeah, Wile E. Coyote. Trying to lure the ghost towards a power pill. And at some point, I might stream some of these old games that I wrote years ago just to prove how awful they are. But I would be willing to say that I do maintain they're better than this. Come on, come on. We've got him. And yes, that is what you have to do. So if you get the power pill for this one, I like that variation. If they add a new rule, new twist, that I always find is that's refreshing. That said, it's Pac-Man, and we've seen Pac-Man a dozen times. So this one is submarines. Well, we don't know anybody who knows anything about submarines, so let's just see how this goes. Your ship is at the top of the screen, shown by two triangles and a rectangle. A pack of submarines move underneath. Release depth charge by pressing any key. Points are awarded for hitting sub. Any key to play. So I presume it's just a matter of timing. Can't even be bothered to keep the graphics on the screen all the time for this one. But I think I won. The best 8-bit submarine game that I ever played was Acorn usually published a type-in game based on Run Silent Run Deep. And it was really well made. And, you're basically trying to find a submarine you can't actually see but using sonar on quite a large map. It's quite, as I say, it was a really well thought out game. It's quite fun. How they didn't get in trouble for making unofficial film license, I don't know. This one is called ROC, ROC. Rocket Launch, a War Game. You command 4 squadrons of tornadoes. Russia has mobilized its armies. Oh, how topical. And started full-scale arms production. The main factories are at Helsinki, Magdeburg, Belgrade and Kiev. These are guarded by surface-to-air mobile missile bases. I emphasise, 1984 this was written. Or maybe late 1983. It's your job to wipe out all the factories. The factories produce the missiles at a high rate. Your planes are more accurate than the missiles, but they are launched without warning if you attack the arms factories. Use the first letter of all words or the whole word when giving orders. Pressing these letters will access the appropriate information. It may help to... Oh, God, this is going to be one where you actually have to write things down. As a general rule... So, option. Do I wish to attack? Well, obviously. I wouldn't be here. I was looking at that map, and just for a minute I thought, Moscow's in the wrong place. But of course, no, it's Magdeburg, isn't it? I can't do that. Well, which one can I attack? B? Which Russian city? Belgrade, I've gone for. Attack factories or missiles? Well, factories this time, because obviously... Oh, I see. Which station to attack? Okay. Little mistake on the plane sprite, in that it's got a stray white pixel on it. Radio contact lost. With overshot, estimated time of arrival. It must be assumed that all crew and planes are lost. Well, what was the plane that we saw coming back? Redeployment. Yeah, that made no sense. Station review then. Oh, it's not really these. Now, hang on a minute. Why have I got the 0 there now? Redeployment then. And let's try aircrew. From which station? Tiverton to let's go to operations. Do I wish to attack? Yes, obviously. Oh, yeah, that's a vague statement because I assumed it meant which one are you going to attack? It means which station to launch the attack. Right, okay. Well, let's start on D and we'll go for M. So this is what nearby. Attack in progress. Oh, that was a bit miserable, wasn't it? British planes lost 6, aircrew missing 12, planes returned 2, number of missiles destroyed none. Oh well. Let's move on. PLA, something hopefully a little bit more upbeat. Planet Defender, or Planets Defender. It's got to be more than one planet here. You must defend your planet from a fleet of UFOs by guiding missiles onto them. They accelerate as they come down to bomb your planet. You have 20 missiles to shoot down 10 of the UFOs. Good luck. Use the keyboard or joystick in port 2, which we have handy. You can use the hyperthrust, which gives an extra burst of speed, but makes the missile difficult to control. Your planet is destroyed if you run out of missiles. If UFO is not destroyed, it will return. Space. If using the joystick, okay, left, right, and hyperthrust. Please wait. Oh, which game was it that had... Oh, it was Overtake had that same board around the title. So again, it must be the same coder. Warp mode. And we'll make it relatively easy because, you know... Oh, this looks a lot like that dogfight game, doesn't it? Galactic Dogfight. I've just got to keep hitting the... Oh, I was thinking of a spaceship, but I hit it. I've got to hit the UFO, haven't I? Hopefully the straightforward thing to do. There we go, we got one. Another one. Oh no. It'd be nice if it had sound, this game. The fact that you've got a bit of a turning circle makes it a little bit harder to line up the UFO. Because the obvious thing to do, is what I'm trying to do, is just line up with them so that it's flying at me, which makes it much harder to miss. Because if you're going diagonally, the game is a little bit unforgiving about whether it thinks you're hitting it or not. It seems to be just too easy to go through. But that time I hit it. Let's try. Oh. Hitting those solid clouds isn't a good thing. Okay, that was another UFO down. That was this kind of thing that I'm normally trying to do. Oh no, it went straight through. Oh. Now, when I wrote Hyperspace for Tick 80, I had one where the shots would go through like that. But what you do is you just try to give the player a little bit of help by checking before and after you've moved both objects. So it basically makes you've got to put it on the player's side. The player shouldn't feel like they've been picked on by the game. Or rather, the game can be hard, but you don't want it to feel like you're battling against the game's mechanics rather than the actual skill of the game. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about. Oh, I thought that... Oh, dear. We're nearly there with these. Oh, no, I thought we might get it diagonal that time, but that was another one where it went right through. And again. And again! Oh, that was mean, though. That one definitely went through. Well, I suppose it's UFOs. They've got clever cloaking technology. Last UFO. Let's see if we can get it. An inexplicable speed up there. The game is harsh, but it's not, it's not Dark Souls. Or maybe it is. I mean, there were games like Golden Figurine, which were, painfully hard. Now, that I flew over the top of. Hopefully, it's not going to get too low, so I'm taking some sweet time about this. It's getting a little bit on the low side for me, I've got to be honest. Oh. Well, that's interesting. There, when it got down to the bottom, I thought that was an insta kill, but I guess not. Maybe you just lose a missile. There, I saved the planet. Press spacebar to continue. And immediately there's another invasion. But yeah, that was all right. It was all right. It wasn't a good game, but it was all right. Nightbot's got you again. The planet. So this one's called Black Hole. Oh, Nightbot has timed you out for 600. Oh. Nightbot. What a bastard. The one person who comes in to talk to me, and it's bloody Nightbot, decides to untime out. Right. Sorry about that, Ditz. I have untimed you out. Nightbot is an absolute dick. And I don't even know. You saved the planet. Yeah, I saved the planet. It was congratulating me. Nightbot is an agent of the aliens. Yeah, I have to turn Nightbot off. Yeah, I mean, what a dick. I mean, delete all your messages. Anyway, Black Hole. Poor old Woodstock's falling out of his tree again, and being his pal Snoopy, you have to help him back up again. What do you mean you can't fly? You've got the latest Acme Corp jetpack. So get on up there, but mind those apples. If you miss him, he will descend into the deep dark well at the foot of the tree and be lost forever. Press 5 to start Joystick 2. Was this licensed by Charles Schultz? And why is it called? Oh, it's called Black Hole because that. I would have thought Black Hole would be set in space. They've actually done graphics. So I've got to go and get him and take him up into his tree, I presume. I'm stuck. It's not very responsive. I know that's my complaint with all of these, but it's because they're written in BASIC. And C64 BASIC was, if you don't know, it basically it is Snoopy. Yeah, it's basically a rip-off of Peanuts. It's all Snoopy and Woodstock. But Commodore 64 BASIC was the same BASIC that Commodore used on the PET. It didn't support any of the advanced Commodore 64 features. The reason for that was that Microsoft wrote the original BASIC for the PET. And they did it for a flat fee. But the PET was a huge success. And so, understandably, Microsoft said, well, if you want us to do BASIC for the Commodore 64, we want a percentage of sales. Well, Commodore said, no, we're not doing that. So they decided to just use the same BASIC, but it didn't support any of the Commodore 64 features. And it was woefully underpowered. Yes, that is... it looked like something came up and then disappeared again. But yes, it was Snoopy. For some reason, I felt the need to respond to it again. I'm so amazed it was Snoopy. Let's see if I can get Woodstock up into the tree. I suppose you've got to get him right to the very top. And they're using more than just one sprite this time as well. This one, it's certainly not a brilliant game, but it is playable, and it is just about above average. And I like the fact that it's got Snoopy in it, even though I don't know how they... Well done! Well done, Snoopy! And Snoopy uses his chameleon features to change colours in celebration, playing the famous Peanuts tune. Some of the apples have become deformed. This is now kind of like This is kind of like a Guillermo del Toro sort of version of Peanuts now. Anyway, that's Black Hole. Next one is Dine. Hearts. Why would hearts be falling from a tree? Hearts don't grow on trees. As any organ donor will tell you. Dynamite. This is a one-player game, and your mission is to rob the bank in a limited time and escape. You have to make your way through the invisible maze towards the safe using joystick control. Port 2. Hooray. At last, they're being consistent. And fire button, which shows you a map of the maze. You can see the maze 8 times. Press key to set up graphics. How does that just mean load graphics? It doesn't mean there are options. Your getaway car is that. Press a key to carry on. Oh, I see. What the hell were they thinking of with this music? Music? It's just noise. There's the germ of an idea of a game there, isn't there? Actually just setting a game in a QR code. The police did a better job of catching me than I did of getting in the building. I'll tell you that. How did I get a score? Or is maybe that's the amount of time you spend in jail? Only dogs can hear this game. Well, I hope they enjoy it. Next one is Doi. Do your sums. This is going to be educational, I presume. Or maybe it's just a celebration of spirals made with asterisks. Your name is C64. What is your name? My name is Darza. 45. Is that all? I'm 46. You've got problems, C64. Can I play with you? Yeah, all right. Okay, now what can we play? I know. Can you do maths? Yes. Good. We'll play a game I know called Do Your Sums. It's great fun. I bet I'll win. Ready? No. All right, yes. This is what we do. I'll give you a sum. If you get it right, I'll draw part of your house. If you get it wrong, I'll draw part of my house. The first to finish is the winner. It's oddly threatening. Instructions, Y or N. The answers to the sums are entered as in most schools, units first, then tens, then hundreds. Using the numerical key. So you've got to put them in backwards. When you're happy with your answer, press E to enter it. If you make a mistake at any stage in your answer, press M and you can do it again. If you get the answer wrong, 64 will say so and you can try again. If you get it wrong again, 64 will display the correct answer and will wait until you discover where you went wrong. I was starting to play the game, I think, where you went wrong. Then when you're ready to continue the game, press C, any key. HTU. So 15 minus is going to be 14. Oh, E to enter, of course. How stupid that you would try pressing return or enter in order to actually play the game. Be 4 or 3. E. This is only a step up from when I actually did a stream of Windows Calculator. Although I must admit, when I did stream Windows Calculator, it was surprising many people came along to watch it. I think they assumed that, I don't know what they thought, but some people obviously just get really turned on by numbers. Let's see you. Oh dear. Let's move on from this one because it's not terribly interesting. I think even kids would have found it boring. Derby Dash 41. You start off with £1,000 and bet on a horse 1 to 6. If your horse wins the race, then you win the amount of money depending on the betting price. E.g., say you put £10 on 5 to 1, then you win £50. You can have up to 10 people playing. What more can I say? Apart from good luck. Press any key to continue. How many players are there? Well, I'm going to assume that there's at least me. I'm actually going to put in 2 just so it's more interesting. Darther. And since Ditz is there, I'm going to put in Ditz. But I bet Ditz won't notice. So the horse that I'm going to be betting on, Randy Andy. But let's be honest, Billy Whiz is probably the one. 2 to 1. Depends how it honestly actually does the random number generation. Slow Approach. That's a good name for a horse, isn't it? Slow Approach. I'm going to put money on Slow Approach. The bet I'm going to put on is going to be 250 of your Earth pounds. Ditz, are you there? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to assume not. So let's just choose one. Well, you can have Billy Whiz. So equally 250 on that. So let's see who comes in. It's just like real horses. They move in turns without moving their legs. I think Billy Whiz is actually going to win this one. Oh, the grey ones keep catching up. No. The police were called. Billy Whiz is the winner. Ditz won. Let's have another go at this. Just because I want to see the names, really. Oh, Super Grand is evens. Super Grand, that was a good show. I'm going to go for... Mind you, then again, they've got Windy Miller. But no, we'll have Super Grand. And this time we'll go... 5. Mind you, it's evens, isn't it? I'm only going to get my money back. Still, Ditz can have Windy Miller. Put 500 quid on that. This is not real gambling, by the way. This is simply a random number game that we're just playing, and there is no real money involved. Emphasising this because of TOS. We're just going through a list of crappy old games, and there's, for the Commodore 64. They don't move, do they? They're just like being pulled by strings, I think. Ditz is doing really well on this. Look at that. Ditz has got 10 times the amount I have. Let's move on. This next game is SPA. Space Search. Game number 42. Instructions. You must find a planet capable of supporting life. If you collide with a planet, you lose. If you fly next to a planet, you can take on fuel and check if it's the planet you've been searching for. Your fuel level is always decreasing. QZIEP. Press return. Orbiting planet 6. 16 units of fuel. That's quite interesting. Orbiting planet 4. 14 units of fuel. I crashed into the planet. Hooray! If there wasn't life on there now is, but not intelligent life. It'll just be the splat of microbes that are left. Let's have another go at this. Keep going. Well, this time we're actually moving orthogonally. I thought it might be restricted to just... Orbiting planet 6. And we've picked up 8 units of fuel. Orbiting planet 2. And we have picked up 13 units of fuel. Planet 10. 7 units of fuel. 7. 10 units of fuel. I found the correct planet. Your search is at an end, because I'm quite pleased, because the direction I was going, I would have crashed into it. Search is at an end, blah, 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 out of range. Press return. That was an interesting conclusion to that game, but it was because, again, I was holding onto the keys. Let's have a quick list of the basic for this, shall we? This is game source code. It's an interesting idea for a game, and as far as basic games are concerned, you want something where not much moves, and generally speaking, that was playable. It was interesting. It's the sort of game that I would tinker with and add features to make, so that there were different types of planets, or maybe there were clues as to which the right one was, and things like that, or different types of aliens. You could extend that in all sorts of ways. I think it's quite an interesting idea. So next one is called Uni. What actually is it? Pardon me loading it twice. I don't know. Universe. The Enterprise, Star Trek again, is trapped in a series of space caverns. Can you fly through them and escape? Guide the Enterprise through the caverns without touching the walls or hitting the meteors. Sounds like another one of those, doesn't it? Use a joystick. Doesn't tell me which port. I'll try. Okay, port 2 looks like it's going to work. Yeah, it's another one of these. No, I'm not going to resign. I love the idea. You crashed the Enterprise. Your resignation is humbly requested. Surely, court-martial. You know, you've destroyed the flagship of the Federation. If you just quietly, don't come back, we won't say any more about it. I don't think it would work like that. I'd like to get to the other side, though. Oh, I thought we might be all right there. Let's try it again. Diddly dee. Of course, I mean, so much of this is randomness, isn't it? All right. I'm probably gratefully accepted. We're so grateful. I'm sure that everybody that was ever aboard the Enterprise is indeed grateful. I resigned. So this one is Rat. When the Saints go marching in. What's that got to do with Simon? The object of the game is to follow the sequence of notes the computer will play. For every note the computer plays, you get a point. To make it easier, a block will be lit up. If your go doesn't light up the same block, then the game will end. If your go does light up the same block, then the computer will add another note to the sequence. If you continue typing in the correct sequence, then the game will get faster and the skill level will increase. Use keys 1 to 4 to light up yellow to cyan. Press any key to start. Let's just go for the middle of this one. Never found these particular games very interesting, to be honest. Speeds up. And I lost. I think it's because I had a key in the keyboard buffer. Sorry if the dog kept getting picked up. There's people downstairs who are being very thoughtless. It was a rapid pace change. No, I don't think we do. But even when it was, the original Simon was around, I never thought it was that interesting a game. Technologically quite clever, I suppose, for the home market at the time, but even so. It's just very repetitive, Tanker rescue. Your mission is to rescue workers on the burning oil rig and transport them to the safety of the tanker nearby, but avoid the huge clouds of poisonous gas. You may make contact with them, but not for too long. Press fire to start. Use joystick port 2. What's it doing? There was a game I had called Rig Attack, which was actually very, very, very similar to this. Except I was better at Rig Attack than I am on this. Rig Attack had much better graphics. There we go. I've got the person. Now I've got to... Why did the ship just suddenly move? Oh, we got somebody. We saved somebody. I say these oil workers are huge, aren't they? Look at the size of it. Unless it's like an oil rig based Burning Man. That was alright, a bit sluggish. But yeah, they'd made an effort with the graphics. This next one is Parachutist. EAR. Use joystick port 1. We have to switch ports again. To guide the parachutist onto the base at the bottom of the screen, he is only movable when the chute is open. Sounds an awful lot like Lunar Lander. Press the button to jump from the plane and pull the joystick back to open the chute. On the top corner of the screen, there is a wind indicator. That's your wind indicator. Setting up graphics. There are 2 levels. So let's go for the easy one because, you know. Yeah. And another one where these flying gravestones. This was obviously a problem in the 80s that they used to make them out of helium, and all of the graves would fly up into the space. Don't open your parachute because otherwise it's going to make horrible screeching noise. Do you know what? We've done enough Lunar Landers. Let's move on. This is another one called Jet. Now I think this one might be Jet Bike or Jet Mobile. Now, if this is the one with the... Is this the one with the milkman? You're a jet-powered caterpillar and have to eat as many lettuce leaves as possible in 2 minutes. You must not bite yourself or run into the side of the box, which also contains a hungry blackbird. Extra points are given for the length of the time you last. Use joystick, input 1. Level of difficulty, whatever, 3. So this is Snake. Why was it called Jetmobile? Oh, another beautiful sound effect. That's the sort of thing that will lull you off to sleep. To be honest, I'm surprised it took us this long to find a version of Snake in this game. With the bird, there's not a lot you can do to avoid the bird. Enter 2 initials, it's that again. No. It's another one where we've got the... we get to have a look at the basic code. I'm actually going to reset the 64 because that sort of beat sort of noise in the background, which I think may just be that they haven't reset the sound chip properly. Right, so the next one is HIG. This is number 48 of 50. High rise or 3-card break. Preamble. Not instructions. The highest hand is 3 threes, followed by 3 aces, 3 kings, etc. Next best is a running flush straight. First ace 2 3, then ace king queen jack, etc. Press any key to go on. Then come the ordinary runs in the same order as the straights. Next best is a flush. First the ace flush, then the king flush, queen flush, blah blah blah. After that come the pairs, pair of aces being the highest, then the king pair, and so on. Finally, the high card starting with the ace. You start with a stake of £1,000. If you lose it all, I win. But if you increase the stake up to £10,000, you win the game. At the start of each hand, both of us must put £10 in the pot. After seeing your hand, you can bet, pay up and see me or fold. If you do, I win. The minimum bet is £10, but can be raised. The player with the best hand wins the pot, unless someone has already folded. If it's a draw, I win. Hard luck. There's D to D. Isn't it? Well, I already won a hand there. I mean, they're obviously playing with the old-fashioned square cards. Uh, I know playing cards historically used to be a different shape. I've got a feeling that there was a period where they were circular, weren't they? The older playing cards. They used to be circular. I'm sure I read that somewhere. You'd think I'd know better because I've got quite a collection of playing cards. But if Ditz does playing cards merch, that would be definitely something I would get. Please play anyway. Let's move on. We have is the next game. 49.50. The Force. So we've already had one called Force Field. Is this the Force as in Star Wars? Let's find out. You are a barbarian and you hear about a castle that has gold and silver in it. I don't think it's Star Wars. You decide to explore the castle and collect the treasures. You also discover that the castle is lived in by horrific monsters. They are controlled by the evil Force. Also, they're the Sith. You must kill the monsters to get the gold and silver. Commands north and south, east and west, push and pull, open and close, lock and unlock, attack and look, hide and help, status and pick up. You don't think you can get a Ditz pack of cards because there's lots of places that do them, funny enough. I'm sure you could actually, but I'm not seriously saying that's something you should do. It was just that the subjects of playing cards came up. Yeah, custom decks of cards are actually quite easy to do because I was looking at that to get a custom set of Dixit cards done because I did a load of Dixit designs and rather than just printing them at home because I know a guy that did. Has the tea arrived? It hasn't yet, to my knowledge. It may have arrived today and still be downstairs, but I haven't been downstairs. No, I have been downstairs. I didn't see it. But to my knowledge, it hasn't arrived yet. But I'll have a poke around because sometimes things arrive. Basically, the trouble is, you see, my mum had a stroke a few years ago, so she's downstairs and her carers, sometimes when the post arrives, they move things around. The rest of the day I look after it, but they do the stuff that I don't want to do, if you see what I mean. After each command, hit return. Beware of time traps. Stop trembling and press space. You're standing in a dark, smelly room with a wolf eating in the corner. In the dark, smelly room with a wolf eating in the corner is a wolf. Also, there is a chair. Eat wolf. I don't understand. Sit. Get chair. Can I fend off the kill wolf? You're standing in a room with an unlocked door. In the room with an unlocked door is a corpse. Also, there is a famous. What happened there? That wasn't where I was just now. Bloody hell. I'm stuck with this game. I know it's a text adventure, but it's like one of those RPG text adventures. It's not. I wouldn't even call it AI. It's just. They said that like push and pull. What do you want to push? Silver. Get. Take. Pick up. Pick. Collect. Oh, it's still waiting. You cannot push that. Exit. This is very painful. I'm going to move on because, you know, it could be a good game, but you shouldn't be having to fight with the parser all the way through. Welcome to Exchange, based on the popular TV game Countdown. I bet they didn't pay for it. This is not like a bug. They've deliberately done this to make it look spectacular. Press the Q key to start the game. Follow the rules, yeah. The number of letters you wish to play. A maximum of 14 letters is recommended, but 8 is the usual number. You may choose vowels or consonants one at a time. You must make a word from the available letters. Now touch any key to start. Why is it flashing? How many letters do you want? Let's go for 7. Vowel. Consonant, 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 vowel, vowel, consonant. 30 seconds from the tone to complete a word. It's not really a great deal you can do with that. I don't know if fabs is a word. I suppose it's just sub is all you can make, funny enough. Or maybe barbar. Yeah, it's better than the actual countdown music, isn't it? If they just used these beeps. There were official 8-bit versions of countdown. And it finishes with a fart. Always finish with a fart. Time up. Was I supposed to actually just enter the word or something? Do you want to play the numbers game now? Oh, God. Alright. Touch any key to get your random number. It's numbers. You know, countdown, you'd never have the number 103 come up as one of the numbers you can use. No, the total number is 350. 13. Alright. I can easily do it. Oh no, I can't. I was just looking at 103 times 5, which would be 515. I could make 200. Shit, I can do it. Oh no, I can't. No, I can. I can do it. And I'm going to tell you how I can do it. If you take 5 minus 1 is 4, 16 minus 11 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 times 25 is 200. 103 times one of the 5s is 515. 515 minus 200 is 315. Thank you very much. I didn't even need the 135. They should get me to do the bloody numbers game on Countdown. I'm better than them. Well, that was the last game of the Cascade Cassette 50 on the Commodore 64.